hop in, they're more than welcome to. So we'll just do the little intro and we'll get things fired up. Let me close this out. I don't need no stinking Facebook. You don't need no stinking Facebook.
Just faces.
Just faces.
Or head. I'm not sure what we were talking about.
I'm not sure either. Haha. Alright, get everybody here. And then we're going to turn everyone off. We're going to turn everyone's camera off here just because then it does better audio quality then for everyone. Though I do love seeing all your smiling faces.
Aw, thanks, Dan.
And here we are. It is the 100th. Can you believe it, people? The 100th episode of the Spoiler Room, and I have a great crew for me tonight. We might even have some more people joining in. We're playing it a little loose, a little bit different this episode because it is the 100th episode, and why not do something a little different? And for this 100th episode, he has come back after his long, long journey across many foreign lands. It is the one, the only, Mr. Brad Ludwig is back with us tonight in the Spoiler Room. Hello, Brad.
Wow, thank you. I feel special.
Well, we're just glad to have you back in the Spoiler Room, especially for this special episode. And next to him is a Spoiler Room familiar, the one, the man, the myth, Cole Meredith. Hello, Cole. How are you?
Hello, sir. Thank you for having me. I'm doing fantastic.
Glad to have you here on the Spoiler Room for our 100th episode. And next to him, we have the Doctavius, the man on stage. It is the living Muppet, Doc. Hello. How are you doing today, Steve?
I'm confused. Didn't we just record episode 50?
It kind of feels
It feels like that was last week, I swear.
It feels like we were just recording
That's
episode
how old
50.
I am.
And if you felt the energy in the room, no, that's not the burrito you had this morning. It is Tiger Power. He is in the house today. Hello, Mr. Tony Estrada.
Happy 100 episodes, Mark. I can't believe you reached this far. Also, congratulations on reaching 1,000 subscribers, man. I'm very happy you've come this far, and I'm very happy to celebrate both of those milestones for you.
Well, thank you very much, Tony. Yes, if people didn't catch it, we did finally hit the 1,000th subscriber mark, a little over 10 years and 2 weeks of being on YouTube. So, baby steps, right?
Wait, hang on, Mark. Here's a little something for you.
Hey, right. We're getting fancy up with sound effects here. Might actually have some kind of show going on.
Crank up the music!
No one told me there'd be a studio audience. I would have come with pants then.
Who brought the studio? All right,
who's wearing pants?
Who brought the studio audience? Who did it? I want to know.
That was me.
Oh, we do have a little bit of breathiness coming from you, Doc. So
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just really excited. That was me.
Oh, that was.
I thought it was the burrito that Tiger Power wasn't.
It may have been the burrito. I'm not going to. I can neither confirm nor deny that.
We cannot confirm or deny that it was the burrito. Though it does smell like a Mexican locker room in here. Anyway, no. I didn't say that. That wasn't me. I don't know who said that.
Wow.
But tonight,
How hard is that root beer tonight, Mark?
I don't know yet. We're still on the first sips, so. But yes, it is the 100th episode. We're playing it loose, and I asked the crew tonight, as well as some crew members who couldn't make it, but they will be putting them in throughout the show. They've done little recordings of their favorite moments, as well as their desert island film. We're kind of doing a twofer here. So first off, let's get down to some favorite moments, or not so favorite moments, or they can just tell me I'm full of shit as well, from past shows. We'll start with Brad, because we haven't heard his sweet, sweet pipes in a while. Brad,
Ha! Mark, you're full of shit.
All right.
Woo!
That's the first one for the evening. All right.
There you go.
How about tequila?
Yeah, there you go. You know, the thing that I've always liked about the show is you have a group of people, and it doesn't matter who's in that group, but everybody has an appreciation and love for movies. And no matter what, if you mention... I'm guessing you guys already talked about Suicide Squad, yes?
No, we haven't yet.
We haven't.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to touch that right now. But let's say, for example... No, I'm going to touch it. It's whatever. The cameras aren't on. I can touch it all I want.
Yeah.
But, if it doesn't matter what side of the fence you are, whether you like something or absolutely hate it, you get that opportunity to have a decent discussion with everybody. And you're only slightly judged for your opinion. But, it's just having that group of people that really care and they really enjoy cinema. And that's what I really like about the show. Do I have a particular episode that I really enjoyed doing? It's been so long since I've been on.
I know. You're
I
busy,
can't
man.
really... I need to make more time to be on the show is what the problem is.
But
God,
you did mention Suicide Squad, so
I did. I'm sorry. I'm gonna see it tomorrow night. So, Jesus, I'm trying to think of one that I was on. That they're all good. I can't think of one that really stood out more than the others, but it's always fun.
Tony did a great video, which he said he's going to make public on his channel afterwards. A great little clips of some of his favorite moments, and one of them I was reliving. I was laughing quite hard when we were doing the best and worst of 2014, and Brad goes off on Lucy.
Oh, there you go. I'm kind of like a shark when I rant. The eyes roll back in the head. You get the doll's eyes, and you just go. And I come out of that whole blood rage, and I'm like, what did I say? God, I hope you recorded that because I don't remember a thing.
I believe the words were, while I was watching the film, it got me so mad I wanted to punch someone in the dick.
That does sound like me. Yeah, it really does. Wow. I don't remember being that angry, but it's been a while since I've seen the film. I bet you I'd watch that and want to punch somebody in the dick again.
It had to do with the whole 10% of your brain usage.
Oh, that horse shit.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all coming back to him.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
I just
Open all
found
those
Brad's
wounds.
trigger word. I just found Brad's trigger
10%.
Why is he turning green and getting bigger?
Yeah. So I think overall I enjoyed that particular film, but yeah, I did want to punch somebody in the dick as soon as that was the core premise. But otherwise, it was an interesting film. So, anyways, enough recounting Lucy. Was that one of my favorite reviews? Now that I've mentioned that I said dick punching, that's kind of funny to me. So we'll go with Lucy, the Lucy one. Yeah,
The Lucy one.
the one with Lucy in it.
Yes. With Lucy.
I consider that one my favorite Brad moment.
It was a very classic Brad moment you had.
I seem to have this burning desire to just punch people in the genitals, and I'm not sure. I may need anger management classes. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm just glad we're not in the same room.
Yeah.
No offense, just in case.
Hey, you know what? None taken.
He'll just punch the closest dick near him. Just
Wait.
It's entirely possible.
You are a dick-bearing creature. Come here.
It's like Batman and Robin. That movie sucked. Oh, I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Oh, don't. Did you have to bring up Batman and Robin? Did you have to, Tony? Come on, man. Why'd you have to bring up that, man? Oh.
Mr.
Okay,
Freeze
I'm good.
puns.
Oh,
That wasn't the one that I remember someone having a 30-minute diatribe about, though. In the years before there was that, it was just the "don't ask Mark about the movie, otherwise you have to have a half hour for him to yell at you." It might have been the Batman movie before that one.
No, it was Batman and Robin. Though
I thought it was the one before that. I thought it was the Val Kilmer one.
No, Batman Forever.
I thought Batman Forever is the one where Jim warned me not to talk unless I had time.
It was for a while, but then Batman and Robin came out.
Oh.
That
Then there was a new rant. Yes.
That was a new rant. Batman and Robin is the one film that really sticks with me right next to the Psycho remake as films that make me as mad as Brad and want to punch someone in the dick.
Right in the dick.
Right?
Okay, I seem to see that we're moving this into topics for the next 100. Movies that are so bad you want to punch somebody in the dick.
Hold on, I'm writing this down right now.
Well, there you go.
There we go. It's going to be a topic. We'll have to have Brad on there.
No doubt.
Hey, Mark, does Vacation make you want to punch someone in the dick?
No, Vacation just makes me mad. Not enough to punch someone in the dick. I just refuse to acknowledge that it was an actual movie and tell people don't go see it. That's
That makes sense.
It didn't make me that mad. No, Batman and Robin made me physically enraged to the point of since we're just playing it loose here, I'm going to tell a story. It's story time with Mark.
Yes!
Yay!
We had
Mark, tell us a story.
Well, I was at college many moons ago, and this was back when that interwebs thing was becoming big. And in our global communications class, we had the option of writing a paper about global communications or doing a project where we set up a website. Well, my group and we set up web pages because that was a hell of a lot easier because we all worked with it already. And so we had a free site back then, GeoCities. That's how old I am. And,
the best 1997 had to offer.
We did a movie page, and my page, everybody else's was kind of like favorites and web crawler links. Yes, that's how old I am. Web crawler links to Tony. In case you're wondering, web crawler was like the very early web browser that you used with a program called Mosaic. So now
was it before like Internet Explorer, Mozilla, Firefox, and all that?
Yes, yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I think we had Netscape Navigator if you were really cool at that point.
If you were fancy.
And then you would go look up something on an Angel Fire website that was riddled with viruses.
But they were simple viruses, so they were like, here, go delete this file in order to unlock riches, you know?
Back in my day, you did a search on the internet using Dogpile.
Wow. Yeah. Woo.
That takes you back away. But
weird flashbacks, man.
It's weird.
You're welcome.
This is already a great episode.
Global communication class, and so my webpage, everybody else had their links for favorite movies of that. My webpage, the entire thing was dedicated to my rant on how much I hated Batman and Robin. And it was up for like 10 years after that, and they finally took it down.
Mark leads the way in internet reviews.
Yes. But
see, now we know the truth. It's the origin story of criticism on the internet. It's all Mark's fault, and that's why he feels guilty about it and must rant against it.
Yes, I was the first. Wow.
Clearly.
Oh fuck!
I think the second thing after they figured out the internet, they were sending messages back and forth. I think the second thing was, "Did you see that new movie? It sucked." You see MASH? MASH sucked.
What about that Bionic Woman episode? Fuck that episode.
Man, television sucks, man.
Makes me want to punch somebody in the dick.
It's totally true. And a bionic dick. $6 million man and the Bigfoot, man. It's ridiculous. Punch him in his bionic dick, then he's not so cool. Gonna get my T-Bird now.
Oh yeah, see, this is what happens when I just let the inmates run the asylum. I know.
Someone should just make a shirt on that.
What? Oh, punch you in the dick?
Yeah, there should be a shirt called that.
Just a shirt that says
1,000 subscribers. Mark finally goes to merchandising. Spoiler room. When you really want to punch somebody in the dick. I'm not sure that's going to get the audience you're looking for, but fair enough.
But fair enough.
But you'll get an audience nonetheless.
This is true. And once we have them, we can sell them. I don't know.
Yeah,
now
maybe
with
another
100%
shirt.
more dick punching.
Thank you, Doc, for bringing that up. Now I just realized, yes, I was one of the early nerd ragers on the internet with my animated GIFs and...
Now it sounds like you just made the Homer webpage. Look at all the animated GIFs I collected.
And pictures of Poison Ivy and Bane and how I ranted about that whole movie. So makes me want to punch someone in the dick. So
We'll try and find the Internet Archive, children. It may still be out there somewhere.
I sure hope not.
Damn, I want to look now.
So, Cole, let's go to you now.
All right.
Do you have a favorite moment, thought, or just want to tell me I'm full of shit? There you go.
From the history
From our
of
show.
our shows.
Yeah.
Okay, I lost track. No, man. I think.
I lost
I
track
think
how many
they're all-
times you were full of shit, Mark. Oh, you mean from
It's
the show?
totally believable.
No, man. But as long as we're playing it loose, I seriously would like to apologize for the Frankenhooker episode.
Oh.
I was really hard on that film.
Mhm.
And I had just come from making my own movie, and I think I was half in character playing Mitch. And I look back on that episode as, when I'm done on the set, maybe I shouldn't do a fucking podcast. I really do. I feel like I was half in character during that episode and put the movie down for not being as good as Reanimator.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd like to apologize for that, because everybody in the show had such love for the film, and I sound like a canker. I'm just there, like, railing against the fucking
that movie
thing,
is
you know?
so disturbing.
So many levels.
So my apologies, honestly, for the Frankenhooker episode, and all of our fans who listened to it. I apologize. I was having a bad night, man. But other than that, man, I think all the shows are great. Mark, you're a fantastic host. I believe that in my heart, and I think you're only going places that are good. I don't think the show is going anywhere but up.
Yeah, am I going
That's
places
my
where I'll
thought.
need singles?
If you're lucky.
If I'm lucky. Well, you said I'm going to good places. So. Oh, wait, was that out loud? Oh, shit.
Yep.
Crap. Okay. Was there any particular moment or anything that stood out for you, Cole?
As the good time?
Yeah, a good time.
Yeah, a lot of it.
Mhm.
A lot of it, man. I really, not to get too dramatic, but I look at this show as one of the few places I'm accepted.
Mhm.
I make horror movies in a town of 4,000. The majority of the population of those 4,000 people are, and God bless their hearts, but they're very strict Christians. And nobody shows up to my. I mean, I had 4 screenings, and we couldn't even pay a third of the rent
Oof.
off of those 4 screenings of our last movie, which I actually think is pretty good. I stand by The Last Great Horror Movie. So I actually really adore the Spoiler Room as a place where I can show up, talk with friends, and be myself for an hour to an hour and a half, and also, interact with people who understand what it is to maybe not be rich but still love movies. It's important. I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you, sir. Well, we appreciate you having you on, all of you fine folks. I appreciate that quite a bit, the kind words. I just like rambling about movies, and the fact that I found some other folks that want to do that too is always impressive. And I always am very thankful for that, Cole. And yeah, your movie, you know why people didn't show up? It's because you got me in the first 5 minutes of that film. I'm telling you, man, you cut that section out, they'll be packing the theaters. They'll be like, what the hell?
Man, we knew people weren't going to show. I mean, we got the same turnout we get for all of our movies. We just thought maybe because it was such a tight, compact flick, more people would come. But
maybe you need to make some Christian horror then.
Yeah, maybe I do. I mean, maybe I need to do Ghost Part 2.
Although God's Not Dead was pretty scary by itself. Oh, sorry, was that out loud again? Oh, shit. Crap.
Theme for episode 102, things that Mark thinks he's saying to himself but says out loud.
You realize you're saying that out loud, Mark. That's not inner monologue. Ah, shit.
I said the quiet part loud and the loud part quiet.
I hate when that happens. And Doc, how about you? Did you have a favorite moment? You've been on a few of our episodes now, or one that you've listened to, because you actually listen to these. So
yes, I get to listen to more than I get to participate in, and that's a lot of the fun for me. Is that sometimes in the car ride as I'm listening, driving home from work, and sometimes I'm yelling along with somebody or trying to remind somebody of the word that they want as they're trying to say it, because they think of a name and I say it and they remember it. I feel like I've helped. But of those, the ones that have that stuck out is like it's not necessarily always a specific moment, because it happens with a certain repeatability. One of them is the moment where everybody brings a movie to the table and nobody knows what the other movies are sometimes except for Mark. And you have the moment where you hear somebody say the name of a movie, almost like, let me put this out there, I Am Afraid. And then you get about half of the rest of the group going, oh yeah, I love that movie too. And you can hear them go, oh, thank heaven for that. I don't have to argue about this one. And just everybody goes, yay, for like 15 minutes. The other side related to that, and it's mostly one guy who's not with us tonight, is Andrew. Mm-hmm. When Andrew will bring in a movie and make everybody watch it, the one that leaps to mind probably most readily is Pootie Tang. And then everybody's going, oh, that was so much fun. And he's like, yeah, this is great. I knew you guys would love this. And then he just laughs because Mark does the crazy intro, and then he's just going, going, ha 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 ha, I made this happen. At the same time, he's going, oh, this is so great. Everybody loves this thing I love. But a more specific moment than that is not even is the naming of Scott as Baby Spice. In recent memory, certainly. Because that lasted for a week or two, and I thought that was even funnier. No offense to Scott, who I think is great. But I thought that was funny.
And Scott Davis unfortunately could not make it tonight, but he did record something, and I'll insert it here. Actually, in regards to his nickname that he earned for some time. Oh, yeah. The Spice Girls one was one of those episodes that was spur of the moment. And yes, folks, if you haven't guessed, this is oogling ourselves tonight. So, but what was interesting about the Spice World one is I put it out there as kind of a joke, and then, like in our group, 2 or 3 people showed interest, and Andrew was like, "Yeah, we should do that as an episode." I'm like, "Okay," and then I actually got response from people. I'm like, "Oh crap, we're gonna be doing this now!"
Surprise!
Well, and that's You know, and that's the rough part. As I'm driving, I can't take notes because that, you know, the side time you'll see people going, "No, I haven't watched that yet, but I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down." And there are a lot of these where, like Spice, or a lot of those where I would never have necessarily thought to watch Soul Plane, but then you hear the group discuss it, and you go, "I kind of want to watch that now." That sounds really fun.
That was actually on the.
Oh no, was that
Film
the?
Jerks? You're
Oh,
talking
that's
about-
right.
See, he's got favorite moments. They're from a different show. Wait,
See, you've done too many shows, Mark.
I've done too many
You
shows.
should have counted those in this continuity. Then we'd be up to like 500 or something. I've lost track.
No, that was the Film Jerks ones we did with Astro Radio Z.
Well,
in conjunction,
erase that
so-
and just go back to talking about Pootie Tang then. 'Cause
No.
that was here, I'm pretty
No.
sure.
No, Pootie Tang was a Film Jerks one.
Dang it!
Oh, no,
Mark
we're
hosts the
leaving-
show. I get confused.
There's
He
no
does too good a
editing
job.
tonight.
They all sound the same.
There's no editing tonight. No.
Ah.
But yeah, no,
Maybe I meant Igor and the Lunatics. Oh wait, no, that wasn't it either.
Stop. On that one.
Mark, keep everything. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
Just keep fucking everything.
I don't know.
Hey
if
now,
anyone-
be careful how you phrase things.
All
Mark's
of it.
gone through that period. No,
It's not timed down.
he had to go to a lot of psychiatric help for that.
The reason why my mom got rid of the couch. Anyway,
Oh, hey.
Oh damn.
oh god, I said that out loud again, didn't I?
It's not a plastic coating on the couch. Oh no.
Why did you name the couch Krusty?
Because it disappoints you when you think it should make you laugh.
Because it gets more crusty in all the wrong places.
Just remember, folks, those free couches are on the curb for a reason.
Fair enough.
And now this is my new favorite moment in this. This
By
one,
two.
or is this? I'm not sure. Is this actually still Spoiler Room, or are we doing a different
No,
show
this
now? I've lost track.
Spoiler room.
Episode 103 shows that Steve thinks has been a spoiler room, but weren't.
Surprise!
It's quite all right. No, I did host that for a while, which they're working on hopefully having them come back with a new host, so that should be fun on Astro Radio Z. Check out Astro Radio Z as well. The podcast, great podcast with Mr. Derek Carey. But here with the spoiler room, what he mentioned with the Igor and the Lunatics, I don't know if anyone caught our poll review we did for our 10th anniversary. Funny story. I asked folks, some of our Spoiler Room crew, to do a co-review for me for our 10th anniversary last month, and a few of them were very gracious enough to agree, and Stock was one of those. And I had them pick the movie, and then I would watch it and we'd review it. And so I asked Stock the movie, and I watched it, and the night that we're going to do the review, I go to Doc and in the recording I go, Doc, so tell us what movie we're going to do. And he said, The Undertaker and His Pals, and dead silence for a little bit. And I was like,
No.
Wait. No, we aren't. We're doing Igor and the Lunatics. And he's like, No. We're doing The Undertaker and His Pals. And I'm like, but you messaged. And so I went through the Facebook messages, and I was like, shit, you're right. It was Undertaker and His Pals, not Igor and the Lunatics. But luckily, I've watched that enough to where we were able to review it from memory. But that was just an interesting. No, I thought for sure you said, and then I didn't, and then.
And then we laughed like this.
And then we laughed.
Talking.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was interesting. But well, I thank all you guys always for this, because we have a very diverse group of folks, but I always felt like everyone's opinion, well, except maybe mine, was respected. So I'm just told I'm full of shit. So
That was me.
oh, that was you. That's right. That was just a little while ago. But
Sucks getting old, Mark.
it does. But
Lax is on its way. It'll be okay.
but it's great to hear, Doc, that you are entertained, whether or not it's this podcast or another podcast.
All the things Mark are on are awesome. Listen to them all. This is a
Apparently
generic
so.
endorsement for Mark.
I'm Mark, and I approve this message. There we
Good.
go. All right. So, Tony, we'll go to you now. I know you did the video, and you're going to make it public on your channel, but do you want to discuss, out of one of those moments on that video, your favorite moments, one of them from the show? Because you came early on to the show, and you've been a regular staple here as well. So,
Oh yeah, man. Would it be okay if I played a clip from one of the moments I added to the video?
I'm not sure how it'll come across, but sure, go ahead.
All right.
Otherwise,
So-
I can edit it in later as well.
Oh, okay then.
Post production.
All right. So one of my favorite moments, I added like a total of, I believe, like 6 episodes. So I chose like 6 moments from like 6 episodes of the Spoiler Room, and one of my favorite moments is in the Favorite Holiday Movies podcast, because Andrew Shearer, he said something so funny that had the whole gang howling, laughing. I really do mean howling. And then it got to a point where when it was wrapping up to me, plugging in my channel, all that, I was just laughing so hard that I had a difficult time actually, plugging in my channel and all that stuff. So
And
let's see how. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, actually, Andrew shared one of his favorite moments as well, and it does involve that episode, and we'll cut it in here for folks to see, so listen to as well, because Andrew unfortunately couldn't make it, but he did record a little something about his favorite moment, and it is actually in regards to that episode, Tony. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, so I found it kind of interesting that was one of your favorite moments as well. That's-
There were honestly so many moments that happened in that episode that I couldn't fit it all into one video. That's all I'm gonna say.
Again, that's the same episode where Brad was punching people in the dick. So, I think that was just
The first time.
2014 was a rough year for movies, man.
And for people with dicks
And
that
for
might
people.
get punched.
So yeah, that's seems to be one of the favorite episodes of many of the people who were on the show. I'm not sure if it's favorite episode of anyone that listens to the show, but we all seem to found it very entertaining. But it is a good episode, the best and worst of 2014. That was definitely a lot of fun. Though we try not to rip in. One of the things I've always tried to do is not to have it to where it's going to be a total slam fest of the film. And I hope we've able to maintain that for the most part. That's part of the reason why some of the films we just don't cover, because it'd be just too easy to just rip into a film, and there's too much of that out there already, I think.
I think for the most part, for the episodes that I've listened to, even if somebody has a criticism, they at least try to find one redeeming bit or one bit that they especially like, so they don't, just crap all over the movie. So,
Yeah, man. I mean, our Fantastic Four episode is very generous, I think. In terms of what else is out there.
Mhm.
If you listen to it, it's pretty. I mean, Christ. I would say everybody gave it at least a thumb sideways.
No, the spoiler room in general is like Brett's. Everybody at least tries to go, well, yeah, I didn't like it, but at least this was done well, or at least I liked this character, or the music was good. There's never, almost never anyway, it just goes and it is done. And if you do, then there's a conversation, and the opinions are respected. So there's been times where you hear that, I really liked it. Well, I really didn't like it, but I liked this about it. Well, I didn't like this about it. And you go, okay, and then I still don't like it, but I respect where you're coming from, and I think I see it a little differently now.
Mhm.
And that's one of the best, it's almost more, those are rare moments on the spoiler room, but when they are, they're very, very real and very genuine, too. It's not just, people on anything. I like that.
It's never to the point where someone's name calling each other. Oh, you're a sack of shit. You should just go burn and all that.
Oh, you're just a shill for this, for blah. Exactly.
So we save that to after the recording's over, and then there's blood. There's figurative blood. There's virtual
dick punching.
dick punching. We trade gifts back and forth of us punching. because we can't hit each other physically, so you got to send it virtually. Go here. If I was there, this would be you. So, sorry. So, one of the things I wanted to do tonight as well.
Is it okay if I play the clip? I didn't get to play it yet.
Oh, go ahead, Tony. Sure.
I just wanted to show it to everyone that's listening. All right, here we go. Oh shoot! Hold on, that's my phone.
Wow, that was really short.
We're off to a good start already.
Are we watching a film strip in middle school?
Aquaman's love call.
Oh man, off to a good start.
I can edit it in as well. So.
Hey, Tony.
Okay.
So, and he said he did fucking know that Scott was a racist, so...
I love that Scott's a racist one.
So we're on official record, Scott is...
It's gonna come up right now. Okay, there you go. Favorite holiday movies.
Pairing of Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby, the two just played off each other so well, you know. And everybody's white in it, so it's...
Oh man, that was funny when you did that. Okay, trying to fast forward a little bit more. Hold on.
And
Okay, I think this is the part.
on that note, Andrew? Oh man, if y'all want to see some movies, Amazon On Demand has 3 of my titles. One of them there is Fake Blood. The other one's danged Pajama Nightmare. And the other one's called Dang Old Mondo Gonzo. You can put that in your damn peace pipe and smoke it bumpers. And may all your dang Christmases be black.
Andrew as Hank Hill, yes.
Oh man, I lost my mind that night.
He broke you then. You were done by then when he did that. That was great. I thought we were gonna have to get you an oxygen tank or something, Tony.
Right. But that's hands down one of my favorite moments from the spoiler room.
Yeah, that episode had a lot of moments, including the whole accusing Scott Davis of being a racist.
But Scott is not a racist.
No, we established Scott's not a racist. No. He is here with us.
Watch the dang old erotic couch, I tell you what.
Scott will probably be listening to this later going, "You fuckers."
No, he'll just accept, I am not! I stood up for you. Just remember, I was the face one day, Scott.
Great. Now Doc's like that guy who's sitting there going, "Hey, I stood up for you. I stood up for you.
I was the face guy.
You can shoot the others, just don't shoot me. I stood up." So Scott Davis is with us in spirit, and yeah, he and Andrew and Derek, we've had so many great people, regulars in the show. The diva of the spoiler room, who's been there, like Brad, pretty much from the beginning. She unfortunately couldn't make it tonight, but she sends hellos to everyone, and yeah, I've been very fortunate to have such a great collection of folks here in the room, and who roll with the jokes, much like Scotty D, who is just a warehouse of knowledge, and he's probably forgotten more about B films than I will ever know. Between him and Andrew, it's like we need to tap their brains, and it's just a warehouse of like facts. It's crazy what
So
they know
awesome.
about films. Yeah.
Totally.
It blows my mind, their knowledge
Word.
that they bring sometimes. I'm like, who, what? You know, and you mention you'll mention an obscure film, and they'll know who the director and the director of photography and who wrote the film. And you're like, what the, huh? You know, I just pulled it out of the bargain bin, and they happen to know it. So.
And not just that. If I could share this in a bind, man, you know, when I'm just in a corner on the set and I need an answer. I mean, I don't have creative consultants necessarily on the set, you know. Scott and Andrew, you can reach out to them, and they'll, you know, get back to you. Not that they understand the material you're working on in the second, but they'll give you their perspective. It's kind of nice, you know. Within almost like within 5-10 minutes, they'll get back to you and say, hey, what is up? This is some suggestions, creative ideas. It's super important. Shows a love for film, definitely.
And that's always, and that's a little sappy, but it's the 100th episode. We can be sappy. I will say my favorite part of the show is always just gathering the various combinations of folks for episodes. I love that, and not knowing exactly what people will say or think, and being very kind even when I'm being a little schizo on, say, superhero films. But yeah, that's my favorite moment. I do remember the one episode I did that I had always wanted to do. I was lucky enough to do it when we did the Independent Filmmakers episode, and I had John Pata and Glenn and Derek and a number of others on, and that was an interesting one. Or there was the time we recorded after the Oshkosh Horror Film Festival.
Yes!
Doc was there. We had Mark Woldrich, who's been on the show. He does all the music for all my stuff. He's a very talented gentleman, as well as Don and a number of others. And we had the microphone set up in the hotel room. I think that's
a number of others. I was the only other one. A number of others. I was the only
Glenn, you are
Glenn!
You are so many people at once. That's why.
Glenn, welcome.
It's
Hello,
Glenn, motherfuckers.
BFD.
What's that?
the big fucking deal himself, BFD. I do greatly apologize. I did not see you sneak in here. It is the one and only
I
Glenn
totally did. I
Ritter.
knew it was coming.
Hello,
He's
sir.
like a goddamn ninja.
He is. Yes, Glenn was the other one there, and that was fun. That was the night, I think, the Super 8 Motel was the only time they ever actually got a complaint about someone at 2:30 in the morning for being too loud.
We stopped recording just before they called us and told us to shut the hell up.
That was awesome. We recorded that episode after the Oshkosh Horror Film Festival, just having a blast recording. And yeah, it was like 2:30, almost 3 o'clock, and they called just after we wrapped up, and they're like,
Sorry.
we're getting complaints that you guys are being kind of loud. And we're like, oh, we're sorry. I'm like,
Because it was essentially this atmosphere, but in a room with all of us together being loud. So
yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of fun to record, though.
That's
I don't
when you
know.
tell them that the orgy just wrapped up. Everything's okay.
We've got copies of VHS and DVD for you later on tonight.
bye.
Wow, wow. Hello, Glenn. You're just in time. We were just talking about some favorite moments from our past shows, as well as just telling people how much full of shit I am. So go ahead, Glenn. You got a favorite moment from the shows that we've done in the past, or just want to tell me I'm full of shit?
Well, I mean, I don't have to tell you that.
There it
No, he
is.
knows. We've told him already.
Yeah, I mean, this has been going on for how long? I'm sure someone's told you by now. Favorite moment? Jeez, I don't know. You know that one time where I said something clever?
So that's like every episode you're on, then.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's tough. I mean,
Or a favorite moment, not it has to be the favorite moment, because that's always a harder question.
well, probably my favorite moment is the one that you already mentioned, which was the big recording in the room with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, I enjoy all of them so much. It's hard to narrow it down to just one.
And you say so much with just a sigh, though. You have that art down, and I don't know how you do that, sir.
Truth.
I always love how you say so much with just a sigh. It's so perfect. It's like you sigh and the world's problems are answered. It's just
He
like
will
that.
sigh, and the rest of the group breaks up because they know something is coming. The tornado is approaching.
Okay, well, yeah. So we're gonna do here Desert Island Films. I got the idea. It's been around for a long time, and it popped up recently in the movie The Green Room, which actually is a really good suspense thriller. If you haven't seen it yet, you should. Astro Radio Z, AstroRadioZ.com podcast. They did a full episode on it, and go check them out. And so I figured, let's ask the crew tonight if you were trapped on a desert island and they had electricity, a TV, and you were able to have trapped on this island with one movie, what movie would that be? And so we'll start with Cole. Cole, what movie, if there was one movie that you could only watch while trapped on a desert island because the generator only had enough power to run this movie ever, what movie would it be?
You know, man, I mean, if I was trapped on a desert island, I would probably want to watch I Dreamed of Africa or some shit, just so I didn't see the ocean. You know, but just a movie I could watch over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
On that basis, man, it would be Creepshow, I think, for sure.
Nice choice.
The colors, the humor. I mean, that's not my favorite movie, obviously, but just in terms of something that would comfort me and something that kind of has that sort of macabre sense of humor and the delight in the unusual and the complete abandonment of anything sane. You know, it's I really love Creepshow. I think it's a delightful film. I don't know how much to say about it other than anybody who's seen Creepshow knows that it's 5 little short stories wrapped around a sort of wrap-around story about a young man whose comic book has been thrown in the trash by his alcoholic stepfather. And during the course of a storm over the night, the wind, actually, of the storm blows the pages from story to story, and you experience these 5 stories within this comic book, and then the movie ends back with you in the wraparound story with the young man and his stepfather, and it's equally delightful. But it's a comic book movie. You know, when people talk about their favorite comic book movies, this never comes up because it's an adaptation, or it's not an adaptation, rather. But it is a straightforward comic book movie, right down to, you know, enveloping the audience in the panels, and I just love Creepshow. I mean, I've seen it probably 1,000 times, and that's no exaggeration. I would watch it 1,000 more times. It never gets old, ever.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, and I have some fact checkers here, I'm sure. Weren't 1 or 2 of the episodes from Creepshow from the original run of the comic? I thought 1 or 2 of the stories were either influenced or based off of.
No, one or two of the stories are previously published as Stephen King shorts, and those are The Crate, and I believe The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. But the other 3 were written specifically, not to be a bossy prick, I just happen to know the info. The other 3 were written by King specifically for the screen. The movie was made off of meetings they'd had about, I believe, making The Stand, and they couldn't figure it out, and over the course of several glasses of wine or whatever, Romero and King decided to do this. And it's probably one of the most disgusting movies ever made. I mean, all of the roaches you see in Something to Tide You Over are roaches. Those are real roaches. In fact, I would vouch for the fact that somewhere in the United States of America we have an entire line of Trinidadian cockroaches well and alive due to this movie. I mean, when they were done, they basically dropped a bug bomb and left. You know, but they never cleaned anything up. So, anyways, aside from all of that, I just think this movie is a hoot. You know, call me sick, but it cracks me up. I love Ted Danson getting buried up to his neck. I just love all that stuff. And yeah, my desert island movie is Creepshow for sure.
Creepshow, that's a good choice. Yeah, that's a good anthology film, one of the better ones. Back when they were making them and actually wide releasing them, because that one did make the theater. Yeah. Brad, are you familiar with Creepshow?
You know, I've only seen parts of it. I have never seen it in its entirety.
Yeah, a lot of times the clip is with the Stephen King and the that was in the first one, right, with the meteor.
Yeah.
And the grass and him turning into Spoiler Room, folks. It's the plan. If you haven't listened to 100 episodes and realize we spoil movies here, well then, I don't know which show you were listening to, but
Probably Film Jerks.
Glenn, how about you with Creepshow? Do you like Creepshow?
Yes, I do like Creepshow.
You do.
I have to say though, this is probably the first time I've ever heard someone say the words comfort and Creepshow together, and not a this person needs to watch Creepshow. I need to comfort them.
It is comfort food.
It's comfort something. I'm not sure what. So we'll go right to Glenn here. Your Desert Island film. If you had power in the TV and the DVD and you could only watch one film, what would it be?
I like how you added all those little things there. I wonder why you might have added all of that stuff.
I don't know.
As caveats. I think I'm probably going to stick with the one I ended with after my long spiel that I gave you recorded, and I'd probably go with Blues Brothers.
Nice.
Oh, good choice.
It's
nice.
funny, and I not only get a movie, I get music.
Yes, you
So
get
I
both.
get two things. So take that, people who just have a move thing to watch. I got something to listen to as well. Because I had to pick something lighter because, God, I don't want, as much as I like Evil Dead or Dread and stuff like that, it just, after a while, man, being on that island, I'd be like, boy, me putting a shotgun in my mouth wouldn't be such a bad thing. So yeah, I think I'd go with Blues Brothers, man.
Well, you could dance on the beach too. So
As long as they don't have to take the sequel. If I take the sequel, then that shotgun's looking really appetizing.
Damn.
no love for the sequel there. Which we actually did a full episode on Blues Brothers. Check it out here on SpecialMarkProductions.com podcast. Spoiler Room. We have that episode there as well. That was fun. That was after trivia, because that was a trivia movie, and that was a fun episode. So, Blues Brothers, I think that's a good choice. I think everybody here could see them watching it. Doc, how about you, Blues Brothers?
Oh yeah, totally. It's been a while since I've seen it, but that was one of those movies I watched a lot. I have the novelization, which is rather different from the movie. If you're not familiar with, it's mostly about them practicing for the last show. So they've actually moved into a house because one of the guys was working on like a place where they were building a subdivision. And I remember at the end they just basically destroyed the house internally in order to set up a rehearsal area. So they managed to implode it. So hopefully like nobody would notice. It was the plan, and then they moved on to like the final area where they did the charity concert and all this. So like there's a whole chunk of goofiness that's in the movie that's not in the book because it doesn't translate well to the written word to be doing musical numbers. So you have to fill that gap with story, and they did. But yes, I do have a fascination with the Blues Brothers too.
But
Tolkien... I tape recorded. I have audio recording from when I was a youth of the Blues Brothers cut down because I wanted music and little comedy bits. So I've got like 30 minutes of the Blues Brothers on an audio cassette. Yes,
wow.
I do enjoy that movie. I should probably watch it again.
You probably should. Definitely. It's out on Blu-ray now, I think.
Yes, a couple times.
Few times there. But that's a great choice. You can dance on the beach, the music in the beach with no pants because you're on a desert island. So. It'd be like when you're on the show and you don't have any pants, right, Glenn?
Do any of you wear pants on the show?
We had that conversation. Apparently, the answer is no.
No.
Okay.
I don't think any of us have pants on.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah.
I have shorts on right now, if that comforts anyone.
Oh, but you don't have pants on, so see, there you go.
True.
Boom.
Yeah. Boom. Brad, how about you and your Desert Island film with those caveats? Where you
The
actually have a-
caveats once more.
where you have a TV and a DVD or media player, and you can play one movie. You'd only get a choice to watch one movie while trapped on the desert island. What movie would that be?
I would want to watch a movie that had a strong 80s soundtrack that made me feel a good range of emotions and was very colorful and entertaining. And for me, what's your guess?
I can guess.
Yes.
I'm sorry, just based on those, it made me think of Transformers the movie.
Oh my god, dude, you're freaking psychic. That is exactly the movie I would watch.
Which is coming to Blu-ray.
Yes. You know, the Stan Bush's Dare. I mean, come on.
You got the touch.
Yes. That's right. Stan Bush did the touch.
Yeah.
I can't remember who did Dare though. Anyways, you know, I've loved that movie so much that the first time true story. I was living in La Crosse. This was early 90s. First time I walked into a Best Buy, and I'm like, oh my god, this is better than any CD or other cassette store I've ever. Back in my day, you used to be able to purchase music on cassette tapes. Anyways, and I saw that they had Transformers the movie soundtrack on CD, and I turned to my then girlfriend. I'm like, oh my god, they have this on CD, and she said, Are you serious? Needless to say, we are no longer together.
Is that the
'cause
CD
I don't
with
need
the
that kind of-
lenticular cover? Because I
What's
has
that?
that one. The
What's
20th anniversary one?
No,
or is this before that one?
This predates it. Yep.
Oh, okay.
And you know, if you don't cry during the death of Optimus Prime, you have no soul. Seriously. There's something about that film that just takes you back to a time when things were kind of simpler in a way, and you can just I totally get absorbed in the film, and you know, is it an Oscar-winning film? No, but if I'm on a desert island, I want to be entertained, and that movie is one of those things where I can turn it on and I don't necessarily have to pay attention, but I know exactly what's happening, and I can probably recite the lines to that particular part, you know, just because I've watched it so many times. I absolutely love that film, and that's the movie that I would take with me. Absolutely.
That's a great choice. It is if anything, was the epitome of 80s soundtrack. In fact, I've recently was having this discussion with my good friend Jim on the way back from, we went to see Jurassic Park on the big screen. Marcus Theaters in Appleton is having this retro $5 showings of old movies on the mega screen in the luxury chairs.
You're
which,
doing that down here, too.
Oh, nice.
And so this month is Spielberg month. So they did Jurassic Park, but I digress. But on the way back, we were having a discussion about it and about how Transformers was coming out on Blu-ray and the soundtrack of that. And what I always found funny about it is, yeah, it's this film that is a little bit obscure, but anyone who grew up at that time, if you mention it, you're like, squee! I mean, you're like that, because back then, you got a lot more of the wide-release comic movies from TV to film. I mean, you had Transformers, you had He-Man. I remember seeing the He-Man She-Ra cartoon, Masters of the Universe one, when they were promoting She-Ra. But I remember seeing Transformers, and yeah, that soundtrack is just so 80s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's perfect.
Oh, it's so
That way.
perfect
In
for
that
the
way.
movie. Yeah, it's perfect for the movie, but it's definitely, you need some wine with the cheese for a couple of those songs. But I got a kick out of it because many moons later, you got Boogie Nights came out, and you're watching Boogie Nights, and that's a great movie, by the way, if you haven't seen it. And even just because it's about the porn industry, yeah, it's actually a very interesting film. But at one point, I believe it's Mark Wahlberg, he plays the ex-porn star, and he's trying to get into music, and they've got him in a recording booth, and he's trying to record You've Got the Touch.
Nice.
in the sound booth, and he just busts out with the most worst, the most awful rendition of "You Got the Touch," and I'm like, oh my god, because it takes place in the late '70s to early '80s. It was addressing the move from film to video and such within the porn industry. And he was kind of on his way out because of drugs and that, his character, but he wanted to do recording. And he started singing that, and I just busted out laughing. I was like, oh my god, out of all the movies they could have, out of all the songs they could have picked for him, he picked that one. And so, but yeah, and you got Weird Al, Dare to Be Stupid.
Oh,
On
yeah.
there for the junk, was it
The
the
Junkions with Eric Idle.
Yeah.
Yes.
Orson Welles, Leonard Nimoy.
Well,
Yeah,
Orson-
Robert
Orson
Stack.
Welles' last movie.
Is Unicron, yes.
Yep.
though I don't think he knew what movie he was actually doing.
I thought he was doing an ad for, Frozen Peas, yes.
Here, just read this. Read these lines. There you go, Orson. All right.
There was a period in the late 90s where the movie was hard to find. It was out of print on tape. It was before DVD, pretty much, was really starting to kick in. And one of my buddies had a I think the bootleg Canadian version, which has the swears in it yet.
Oh yes, yeah, because you get the one Autobot saying shit.
Yeah,
Uh,
and there's I think a damn in there.
yeah.
But my one buddy, we were watching it as a group. My one buddy apparently had not seen it, and at that point I'd seen it like once or twice.
Mhm.
So we're all sitting there kind of watching, and like a third of the way through, spoiler room again, is when the climate, one shall stand, one shall fall, and Optimus, hands over the Matrix and dies and everything, and my buddy went, I'm done. He was like, he had to. I turned and looked at him, and he had to look at his face like, no, not good. He's like, I don't want to watch no more of this right now. And we're at that point we're in our late 20s, so it was great. It was a great reaction. I'm like, he's kidding, but he's not kidding.
For an animated film, it has some powerful moments. That is
No, there was just an article I read today because the Blu-ray's coming out of a guy. When I was a kid, he goes, I was fine because watching the movie, I knew because this is how it always happened. He'd be back by the end of the film.
Yeah.
And he wasn't back by the end of the film. And then we went and we started watching the cartoon that fall, which was like a month or two later. He goes, and then Optimus was still dead. He goes, then I cried because I freaked me out because I'm like, what happened? They're not supposed to stay dead. He's a robot. You can fix him. What happened? And then like years later, everybody found out because nobody was watching the cartoon by the end. They had brought him back by the end of the cartoon. But by then, like 3 people were still watching it apparently, so nobody knew at that point. I didn't see those episodes until I was in my 20s. I'm like, it came out on tape, and I'm like, oh, that's the ones where he came back. Okay, those suck. The animation's horrible. But anyway.
Yeah.
But it was still cool because it was Optimus was back.
Well, I just remember that was a big event film back then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Brad, you remember? Did you see it in the theater when it first came out?
No, I didn't actually. At the time, I lived out in the country, so I really, my parents weren't around all that much. They were off doing work and whatever, and so I really didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of films because I lived way out in the country. And it wasn't until it was out on VHS that I got to see it.
Cool. And I remember we actually saw it in the theater, and I saw the He-Man one as well. So that was quite an event movie back then. Though. Cole, did you see Transformers in the theater at all?
I did not. No, I saw it later. Much later, actually, and love it. Obviously, fantastic entertainment. I mean it. It's great stuff.
For an animated film, yeah.
Yeah, no, it really is. I actually just got all of my action figures back from my father. Went and picked up like 3 huge crates of them, but none of the Transformers were there. The Ghostbusters were there. The He-Men were there. Something happened to the Transformers. Maybe somebody knew the value, or maybe I just lost that crate, But
Dang.
I'm not bummed out because I got 3 crates.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, for sure. But none of those Transformers. No, but the cartoon, man, that movie is solid. It really is. That's
It's
solid.
oddly adult considering it was a cartoon that was a commercial for toys.
Yeah,
Realistically, and then you watch the
absolutely.
movie and you go,
Yeah.
wait a minute, where did this come from?
Yeah.
This is an actual
Yeah.
story.
No, I dig it completely,
Mhm.
and it's vibrant too. It has
It is.
It just has life in it. You know? I
It's
dig
got
it.
a lot of energy to it. Tony, have you seen Transformers G1 movie?
Not since I was, I think, 8 years old.
Oh,
But
okay.
but I remember watching it just being the happiest little boy alive. I could definitely tell you that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Glenn, how about you with Transformers?
Yes.
Yes. Did you see it in the theater?
I saw it in the theater. I've seen it numerous times on VHS and DVD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun. It's terrible.
Well,
It's also fun.
What?
it's terribly fun.
Look out. Brad's going to virtually punch you in the dick. Look out.
And it just turned 30 years old yesterday.
Yup, it's coming out on Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah.
So, definitely. So you did think it was that all great of a movie, Glenn?
No, but I think all the Transformer stuff is awful, but I still enjoy it.
Sure. Well, you can't beat that soundtrack, though. That soundtrack, man.
No, that's fine.
It's right up there with Dream Warriors by Dokken. It's awesome 80s movie metal. I love that song.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The video is great.
I guess I
And
should have
ridiculous
started
at the same time. Freddy is defeated by the power of Dokken. What's not awesome about that?
No, it's great. I love it.
What were you going to say, Glenn?
I said I probably took Brad by too much surprise because we didn't start with.
Yep.
That prepares us. That builds us up a little bit more. So
This is true.
Here it comes.
Transformers would be a fun one to watch on a desert island over and over again. And with the new Bayformers Last Night, that's the title of it, the Last Night, I believe it is, or the Lost Night. It's something Last Night. He did release a picture of Hot Rod, who does kind of actually look like Hot Rod, but still it's a Bayformer, so there's so many parts to it you can't quite sure where the head is, but it's up there somewhere around the shoulder area. But apparently Hot Rod's going to be in it.
As a group.
Bayformers, more than meets the explosions.
Nice. And Tony, how about you? What's your desert island film?
Honestly, my situation is the same as Glenn, where yes, it deals with listening to music and it's something more lighthearted. Because when you're stranded in the desert, you don't want to watch something that's dark and depressing because that'll make it worse. So honestly, when I think about it, I think the movie I would want to watch if I was stuck in a desert island is Singing in the Rain, because that's a movie that really entertains me. That's a movie I can always rewatch. And, that movie just has nonstop amazing music. And just like what Glenn said with Blues Brothers, you could dance along to the music as you're stranded on a desert island worrying you're going to die pretty soon. But...
Worrying about death on a desert island? Watch Singing in the Rain. I'll take
Exactly.
that blues away.
You may die, but you'll die out smiling. So...
Exactly. Especially with Gene Kelly's Smile Man, that always puts a smile on my face.
No, that's a great movie to watch. That's a very happy movie in general, actually. There's really not a whole lot outside of them sticking it to the kind of bitchy girl who uses the other girl's voice for her own. That's yeah. That.
Oh yeah, and they're looking to Hollywood. That's what I also love about the movie. Like their whole look into Hollywood.
Well, it's a great movie because it explores the transition from the silent to the talkie.
Oh yeah.
The problem that many of those actors actually had back then, that they had a face for film but not a voice to speak of. So, Doc, how about you with Singing in the Rain?
I'm familiar with it, but I can't put hand on heart and swear I've seen the whole thing from front to
Really?
back. I've seen the animatronic of Gene Kelly at Hollywood Studios enough times because I've ridden the Great Movie Ride. But it's one of those movies that I've read and listened and heard and talked about enough where I just need to put it on the stack and watch it and see it. And I just haven't gotten to it yet because it's a giant stack of things I need to watch.
It is. Cole, how about you with Singing in the Rain?
Well, I mean, Tony always has the most obvious choices. I could totally see watching this on a deserted island until I grew old. I mean, seriously, that's a great choice, and it's a great movie. It really is. It's fun. Whenever I think of musicals, which I typically don't like, unless it's something like The Crow or The Doors, which are, use music as like background fuel. I don't think of this for whatever reason, but this is a great movie, and I love it. I've seen it 2 or 3 times actually, and I love this movie. That's a great choice, it really is.
And that's one of those musicals where even if you don't care for musicals, people are the most familiar with it because of the famous dancing scene.
Oh yeah.
Which is a great dancing scene. In all honesty, back in the days when they had the huge sound stages and rain machines, and you're just like, holy crap, that had to be tough to shoot. So that's a great choice there, Tony, was Singing in the Rain. I like that one quite a bit. And Steve, how about you with your desert island film?
Me? Well, I thought about it a little bit, and it's kind of the same set of circumstances that I think everybody else has kind of pointed out. You're not necessarily picking your favorite ever film, but you want to pick something that you can watch over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of ways, the movie I picked is one of my favorite films, so it works out very well in that regard. It's something I've seen since I was a kid. It's something I've seen on and off. It's the one movie I've noticed that I end up going back to on my own without somebody else having to kind of help make that happen. I've got buddies that every year I watch Bad Santa with because it's just become a thing. I've hung out at some Lebowski fests, so I've seen Big Lebowski a few times over and over again, and things like that. Or I'll go by my buddy's house and we watch Return of the Living Dead every year. But those are all like something I do with somebody else. And the movie I watch by myself, just because all of a sudden I need to watch it again, is the Muppet movie.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew you were going to say it.
Because, as soon as you playing the one song, I'm like, thanks, Mark, you got it in my head. But it's got comedy, it's got heart, it's got music that you can listen to over and over again. It's got, in that regard, it's got a song I've managed to perform once in front of other people, and they actually didn't seem to not, hate it. So it's just got, and it's meta, so it's got layers to it at the same time, where it's just kind of weird. What have we been doing? Here, just read the script. We're going to take a nap. So it's got all, and it's got my friends the Muppets in it. So in no way, shape, or form is there a fail. I want to say the first time I saw it was in a drive-in movie as a kid, and then. It's just, I've had it on tape, I've had it on DVD, I've had it on Blu-ray. It's one of the it's one of the movies that's downloaded onto my iPad. So if I'm walking around, I can get to it if I need to. As a kid, The Great Muppet Caper was more action, so I liked that one more. And then as an adult, when Kermit starts talking about like what he wants to do in life and everything like that, and how he's trying to make people happy, that's the end. That's that moment where I go, I'll be alright. It's cool. I want to do that too. That's awesome. All right, we're good. And now Animal's giant, then I can laugh again.
Yes.
So yeah, it's just so many different moments. There you get the Big Bird, gag and everything else, and yeah.
Well, that movie's so surreal because, it's not the approach you would have expected from it. I mean, they're people, you have humans, and Muppets are everywhere, and people are just accepting of it. It's this alternate world where Muppets exist, and people really Don't question it.
That was the weird thing of the show. The whole concept of the show was pretty much bringing humans into the Muppet world.
Right.
You had like a human or two that were there, and they were surrounded by Muppets. And all of a sudden, with the first movie, you have Muppets in quote-unquote the real world, and like you said, they're surrounded by all these other humans. So now they have to, they're blending. And it's. I think that same moment too. Because as a kid, it didn't need to be explained because it made sense. You're watching, I grew up watching Sesame Street in the late 70s, early 80s, and you had monsters, and the whole point of the monsters were kind of that they were people that they weren't like you, but you found how they were like you.
Mm-hmm.
And that was all part of the educational program that Sesame Street had, was that, oh, hey, these things look scary. Yeah, people might look scary sometimes. Doesn't mean that they're not like you. And then just, okay, there's these creatures made of felt whirling around, and one of them has a giant nose and doesn't look like anything you've ever seen before, and he's really odd. He's still a really great guy. It's okay. Just be cool with everybody and see what happens.
Yeah, I remember seeing that film, and watching it even now, it's one of those that spans any age. You can find something in it, I think, that touches or relates to, and you can latch on to it. And I think for me, the Muppet movie isn't done like a kid's movie. That's the whole thing. It's done like a regular story with the Muppets that everybody can enjoy, but it's not specifically tailoring to kids. It's not talking down to kids though either. I mean, the kids can find enjoyment in it. Brad, how about you with the Muppet movie? You enjoy it?
Oh boy.
Oh, it's a grim side.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. To me, the Muppets were always the TV show. The movies I didn't always enjoy.
No, that's not. To be perfectly honest, that was always more my focus as a kid too. I didn't really care about the movies as much as I cared about the show.
And it was always interesting getting the cavalcade of stars, and the movie did take you outside of any of the movies. Really took you outside of the theater and explore the world. So I mean, it was interesting in that respect. But I don't know. Dealing with their own microcosm of putting on the show every week was really more my thing than the movies.
Yeah, it is interesting. I always enjoyed both, but I always saw them separate, not all in the same universe. It was just like there's the movie universe and the TV universe.
The Muppets are actors
who
put on a show and then occasionally star in movies that don't have any continuity.
Right.
At least. If you look, at least they're all starting over. There's no continuity to those. To try and latch those together makes no sense. Because there's nothing to make sense of them. How did we start this time? Hey, we started this time because we did a cross-country trek. How did we start this time? We all went to school together and put on a show. Those don't go together. It's just, hey, we're actors in a movie. It's all good. Hey, a movie. That's the whole start of the Great Muppet Caper. We're in a movie.
Or they're journalists,
Yes, because they're twins. Kermit and Fozzie were twins. They look alike, unless you really squint really hard.
Oh, that was a funny
It's a
shit.
screwball 40s comedy. It's delightful.
It
ridiculous.
Is. They are ridiculous, but I remember that first.
Hey, Kermit, I'm going to take a picture of this chicken.
Well, the first one I remember watching as a kid, and it disturbed me a little bit, the whole frog legs thing.
This is true.
That was actually kind of disturbing and a bit traumatic for my childhood days. So,
I honestly wonder why you would think I would hate Mel Brooks. Because he's gonna turn his brains into guacamole. And you would think I would look at that guy and go, that's the worst guy ever, because he was going to hurt my buddy Kermit. But I've said, it's Mel Brooks. He's hilarious. I'm actually more bothered by the amnesia sequence in The Muppets Take Manhattan.
Oh,
that
God.
one, that even as a kid, that one made me uncomfortable because I'm like, he's not acting like Kermit. I don't like it. Well, that and him like dressing up in the gold chains and the big, goofy wig
Yeah.
and everything to try and be cool and all, and that made me uncomfortable.
Most of Muppets Take Manhattan made most people uncomfortable, I think.
Yeah. Saw that in the Villa Theater, Mark. Be afraid.
Though credit to the Muppets, they are credited with probably giving one of the more accurate renditions of A Christmas Carol. So there is that.
There you go.
Because I've read a couple of reviews about the Muppets Christmas Carol. They said, yeah, actually the handling of the characters is pretty damn close to the book. So there is that. But the Muppet movie, it's an excellent choice and definitely keep you in good spirits while you're on the desert island with the one palm tree dropping coconuts. And I guess I got to give my desert island film, which I was trying to go back and forth because it goes along with the whole discussion we had on Astro Radio Z of what's one of my favorite films, and it depends on which genre. But for films that I could watch over and over again, it was a toss-up, but I flipped a coin, and it was, and this is going to be weird, but Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah!
Okay,
Yes!
I can honestly say I did not expect that.
That was actually a runner-up.
I honestly thought Terminator 2.
For all the films I've watched and all the films that I love, well, it was a toss-up between that one and Fifth Element, and I flipped a coin.
Oh, okay.
I flipped a coin, and
That's a good
it
choice.
ended up being Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah.
And the reason is that it's got a bad rap, but and the reason I say that is because you get those nights, and I'm sure I don't know if anyone here suffers from it. My wife chuckles. We've got Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Netflix, which is horrible because I've got about 500 DVDs, which I haven't watched about a third of. And so you're deciding what to watch for that one movie for the night. And so you load up Netflix and you scroll and you're like, I've seen it. Nah, I'm not in the mood for that scene. Then you go to Amazon Prime and you're like, oh, that's what's Amazon Prime. Now I've seen it. And so then you have, 45 minutes later, you're tired and you want to go to bed because you haven't picked a movie. But there's one movie that I've gone back to when I get into that rut occasionally. It's on streaming. I also have it on VHS. I go back to Maximum Overdrive. And I'm not sure why, but I love this film so much. I don't know if it's the off-the-wall concept, the tongue-in-cheek, the one-liners, the execution, the characters, but there's something about this film that I just go back to it. I know every line, and I'll watch it, just for something to watch because I can't decide on anything else, and I come back to it, and I'm entertained every single time I watch it. And I'm not sure why. But I've mentioned the movie a couple times on the show here, but for me, Maximum Overdrive is the one. So, Glenn, what do you think? Maximum Overdrive? I know it's a horrible movie. I should have picked better, but...
But this is your choice, man. It's not my choice.
I know. What'd you think
I
of
mean, I'm not
Maximum
stuck on this island with you.
Well,
Or am I?
well, if you are, things got more interesting. But no, you're not.
Okay.
No.
No, I think it's a fine choice. It's a fun movie. I think that Estevez is an awful actor, but it's still a fun movie.
I think it's the characters for me that get it. And yes, you Simpsons folks, it does have the voice of Bart Simpson in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
No, Lisa.
Or Lisa, I'm sorry, Lisa.
I think
not
Lisa's
Bart.
in this.
Yeah, the voice of Lisa is in it. The married couple who's in there, Yeardley?
Yes, Yeardley Smith. Yeah, that's
Yeardley
Lisa.
Smith. Yeah, she plays Lisa, and she's in this as one half of a newlywed couple who end up making it to the Dixie Stop. And Maximum Overdrive, I mean, Stephen King admits he was pretty much high for most of the film when he directed it. It's cheesy. It's got a great soundtrack though from AC/DC. Who Made Who is a great album, and that's basically the soundtrack to Maximum Overdrive. And that was the re-release of the now Ultimate Party song "She Shook Me Up All Night Long." Because if I remember correctly, it was actually released on an album a year or two earlier.
Yeah, that was Back in Black, I think it was on.
Yeah, and it didn't make it that well. And then it was re-released, I think, with Who Made Who, and suddenly everybody rediscovered it. Or whatnot, you know? And suddenly it was like a hit, and now you can't go to a wedding without hearing it. So to this day, it still lives in the wedding playlist. But yeah, Maximum Overdrive. Tony, have you seen Maximum Overdrive?
I have not, but
Tony.
But after hearing the whole, who's the one that directed it again?
Stephen King.
Oh, after hearing the whole Stephen King was high directing it, I actually might want to watch it now.
It is. It's Stephen King does a B movie, is what it is. It's, you know, it's got your classic King characters in there, and it's just as if they were, you know, in a B film, and I love it quite a bit. I'm entertained by it. And I'm not sure why. It just amuses me so much. And it's a film that actually could still apply today, I think, because it's all about machines rebelling, and we're so reliant on machines now, not to get too deep. But you could almost see this film still applying today. Couldn't you, Brad?
Yeah, I could.
Would you say it's the perfect stoner movie?
Well, no, it's not a stoner movie. It's
no, not like that. Like as in people that get high and watch the movie while they're high.
People, if you're high, you'll probably enjoy it a little more. I don't know.
Definitely, I would imagine.
Well, if you're high, you'll watch paint dry. You won't give a shit.
It's the best movie ever, man.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
so
bubble.
lifelike. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. Is it a perfect stoner film? No, I don't think so.
Is it a fun B film, would you say, though?
I mean, it's an interesting trope. I'll give you that. But is it an exceptional movie? No.
Yeah.
But is it entertaining? Would it take your mind off of being shipwrecked on a desert island that mysteriously has enough power to run a DVD and or VHS machine, so you can perpetually watch this movie until you die of thirst or starvation? Yeah, I would watch this film.
Well, I'm add this movie to my Netflix queue.
Well, good. It's a lot of. There's just so many great. It's like Stephen King was high. He was writing a script and he just came up with a bunch of great scenes going, what if machines rebelled? Okay, what odd machines can I take and make them lethal killing machines? I know, a soda machine, which is one of the better scenes in the film, or a curling iron, or a lawnmower, or a ice cream truck. There's lots of deadly vehicles in the film, and it's funny because I read his book, Cell, years later, just recently, so it'd be many years later. And Cell is kind of an update on that, though it's a little more odd as far as zombies and that. But I could definitely see an updated version of Who Made Who coming out and still applying, especially now that everybody's linked to their devices. Those devices killing them kind of is an entertaining thought. I know I'm a sick individual.
Get strangled by their headphones?
Yeah, strangled by their earbuds. Or, well, no, the one girl that died in there by headphones because she had a Walkman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
I thought I remembered that.
It blew her eardrums. Yeah, she was dead because because she was bleeding from the ears because she had the headphones on with those orange foam. Because that's in the 80s, that's what she had, was the headphones with the orange foam.
You were
right.
As soon as you popped out of the chute, you were issued those in the 80s.
Yeah.
And cassette Walkman. No one will know the plight of running and having the Walkman fall and the cassette fly out. You know?
Another reason not to run.
Yes.
Walk at a steady pace.
And then as you got older, you had the CD player, which would skip as you run. So, goddamn portable devices.
And then for that week, you had a mini disc player, and then we discovered the MP3 format, and
That ruined everything, I tell you.
And true story.
Are
In
you-
the late
are you-
80s, I had a Walkman, and I had the cassette soundtrack of Transformers the movie. Listen to it nonstop.
Nice.
Nice.
and circle.
And then the circle is complete. Cole, real quick, with Maximum Overdrive.
Well, you know my feelings, and I'll be quick because I could talk for 7 hours. But the fact that, Stephen King says, well, I was high while I was doing this, that doesn't discount anything. That would discount all of his work for like 20 years. And that's true. That's just like a way of him saying, look, maybe I made some mistakes, maybe I didn't. He didn't set out to make a horror movie. He set out to make a moron movie. He set out to make Rambo or Back to the Future. He said so in interviews in 1986. I only know this because I still have the Fangoria things.
Nice.
And then, years later, you got to do Damage Control. I'm not saying anything about my hero. I would never say he's a liar. I would backtrack on anything he said. I'm just saying, Maximum Overdrive, 1986. What else is out? You got The Fly. You got Aliens. You got Big Trouble in Little China. You got some stiff competition, man. Shit. I think if you watch this movie, if you put it on now, you don't even need. I don't know where the stoner thing came up, but you can put on this movie and really enjoy it. And one last thing I'd like to say is Stephen King. Not only apparently, and I can't vouch for this, but he apparently knows what it's like to be poor, and he has a really strong sense of what lower middle class life is. Because anybody who existed with punch cards is going to relate to Emilio Estevez's opening in this movie, because a lot of us has been through it. That was a thing. You had this little punch card you'd take in and you'd stick it in the machine, and you'd come back and your boss had manipulated it, I don't know. I just think this is more than any other movie in the 80s, possibly, except for Pet Sematary. Obviously, Shawshank Redemption is the best Stephen King translation. It really is. But this is really a pure Stephen King movie if you listen to the way the characters talk. And the anecdotes they tell, it may not work as well as a piece of cinema, but this is how his characters talk, typically. And the fact that Emilio sleeps with the heroine halfway through the movie may seem like a cheap shot, but that's a Stephen King motif. That's what he did in The Mist, So
God.
I love this film.
There's a film you don't want to watch on a desert island is The Mist.
Yeah, no shit.
Glenn mentioned about the whole shotgun to your mouth thing. Yeah, that movie was great, but I've only watched it once or twice because I'm a dad, and there's no way I can watch that film again. I'm like,
it's pretty awful.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of those old Yeller endings.
Yeah, it really is, for sure.
So, there you go, folks. I think we're going to wrap it up here for our 100th episode. Hope you've enjoyed us waxing nostalgia and remembering some moments from the shows. Hope it was your whistle to go back to the archives and check out some of those shows. And please subscribe to us in iTunes and look at specialmarkproductions.com for our archive of episodes. We've got 100 more. I'm looking forward to the 100 more. I just want to say right now, for those who are here as well as those who could not make it tonight. And I tell you after every episode, and I do mean it, every single one of you, I do appreciate when any of you come on the show and want to talk film. It means a lot. We started this thing out kind of as a, well, let's see what we can do and if we can do this with Google Hangouts and such with Ray and Dawn and Brad and Glenn. And it's grown to a variety of more people. We've got a great diverse group, and I love doing episodes almost every week now with you all because I'm never quite sure what comes up. I love the unexpected, but everybody has such diverse opinions, yet we can come here and talk about them, and everybody's very respectful, which you don't exactly get on the interwebs anymore, and I appreciate that, and I just want to let you guys know, thank you for making these 100 episodes awesome and making it 100 episodes. And yeah, I don't plan on slowing down right now, and I'm glad you guys still want to go on this ride with me. So I just want to thank you very much, and thank you for those Spoiler Room crew members who couldn't make it here. Same goes for you guys out there if you're listening to this. So without further ado, now that we'll cut out the sappy parts here, why don't we go down quick and you guys pimp your stuff, where they can find you at. Brad, please tell us where we can find to hear your sweet, sweet pipes.
Oh, you poor souls. You can find me at gncasts.com. I'm on a couple of shows, The Alien Invasion, where we talk about sci-fi in different mediums, be it books, movies, whatever. We do a little bit of news. We're going to be retooling one of our shows, so I'm not going to mention that one. And the other show that Glenn and I actually do is called Adventure Party, and that's where we talk about games and gaming. And, oh wait, do we have something for that? There we go.
Nice!
There we go. Yeah, we talk about role-playing and board games, card games. We just talk about games for about an hour. So usually I have an interview with somebody involved in gaming at some level. So that's where you can find us. gncasts.com/adventure is where you can find the Adventure Party.
Awesome. Yeah, great stuff on Galactic Netcast. Actually, their Podcasted Terror were kind enough to have me on a show, and that was a lot of fun, a good group of guys there. So check out that podcast group, and especially Brad and Glenn's episodes there. Cole, go ahead, sir. Where can they find you?
I am on Facebook. Cole Meredith, Shadows and Lovers Productions is the name of my company. We do little thoughtful, philosophical, low-budget horror movies along the lines of Absentia and In Fear, and if you like to think and be scared, we got good stuff, really good stuff. Also, I work on some digital art on a page called Horror Roar. We do some cool stuff, me and some friends of mine. The new movie is The Last Great Horror Movie, not available commercially yet, but it is finished and making the rounds. And just want to say again, without being sappy or maybe being as not being too sappy, Mark, thanks a lot. It's always a fun ride. You're a professional. You know how to have a good time, and we all follow your lead. So thanks a lot for having us on, man.
Talk about poor souls. No, just kidding. Thank you, Cole, very much for the kind words. And Glenn, how about you, sir? Where can we find the BFD?
Well, aside from what Brad said, you can also find me at guyinabunker.com, as well as on YouTube, Guy in a Bunker, or on YouTube with the B-Movie Bunker, which is the movie reviews that I almost never do anymore, or just follow me on Twitter at GuyInABunker.
Yes, check out those movie reviews on his YouTube channel. He may not do them a lot, but when he does, they are pearls of wisdom and interesting views, especially when it comes to the superhero films.
Word.
And Doc, how about you, sir? Do you have anything that you want to plug?
Yeah, nobody's going to hear this before tomorrow, unfortunately, because tomorrow I'm in Shakespeare again.
Yeah.
Yesterday, we're doing The Winter's Tale. Yesterday, I was Hermione. I was the very, very pregnant queen, briefly.
Nice.
Just turns into a statue at the end, so that was fun. I have no clue what I'll be tomorrow because we pull names out of a hat at the beginning of the play, and then we read off of that truncated version of the script that's highlighted for our character, and we have to learn how to emote and build a character within moments. So there's a lot of improv, a lot of acting, and a lot of fun usually.
And a lot of beer drinking.
There's some beer too. It is called Boozy Bard for a reason. Next month is September, and in September we're doing Measure for Measure. And if I was smart, I would have grabbed one of those cards last night. I did not. I believe it's September 12th through the 14th. It's usually the second Monday through Wednesday of the month up until during the season. The month after that, October will be the end of it. We're doing the Scottish play. These are at Best Place in downtown Milwaukee. 901 West Juneau, or actually this week we're in the Great Hall, which is the other end of the block. But it's a beautiful restored building that's, for some strange reason, the historical people think that us being stupid, acting around, running around, being silly, and doing Shakespeare is a good thing. Yesterday, the joke that we've walked around with for about a year has finally come true, because the best stage direction in probably history we got to finally do.
Oh, really?
Exit chased by a bear.
What is it?
Exit chased by a bear.
Oh.
Or pursued by a bear, I believe, is the actual correct one. I got corrected yesterday. So last night we had a stuffed bear. Somebody carried a stuffed bear out, chased the character to the bar, which is on the one side of the Great Hall. They did shots, and then got chased off stage. It was awesome.
That's pretty good. That's definitely unique Shakespeare, and I think old Will would be very proud of that rendition of his play.
So
Or
at
at
least
least
he got a
find
shot
it-
as well, probably, yes.
As long as he
wouldn't
had
be left
some
out.
shots, yes. Well, no, he wouldn't want to be left out, definitely.
No, that would be, you got to pay the writer something.
We'll pay him in booze. He'll forget.
Yeah, exactly.
And Tony, how about you, sir?
Well, if you guys want to find me, you could go on youtube.com/22tigerdude. You could follow my Facebook at facebook.com/22tigerdude, Twitter at tigerdude22, Instagram at 22tigerdude. Let's see. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at letterboxd.com/tigerdude22. And Mark, I will be sappy because that's just how I am. But I just want to say, thank you very much, man, for having me on this ride. I remember when the first time you asked me, you told me, Tony, I am going to go ahead and hunt you down and kill you unless you start appearing in the spoiler room. And I said, God damn it, okay, Mark. But then I realized you're a very cool guy. And I'm just kidding, you guys. Mark never sent me death threats. For those worrying, he never sent me death threats. But yeah, Mark's a really cool guy. Thank you for having me on this ride, and thank you for having me meet all of these wonderful people. I felt like I got to know each and every one of you over the years. And yeah, it's just been awesome. So here's to 100 more episodes, and here's to 1,000 more subscribers for Mr. Mark Krajcik.
Thank you. Woo! Hopefully it won't be 10 years for our next 1,000 subs, but that's okay if it's not. I appreciate the fact that we finally hit 1,000 subs. We scraped and worked, and I appreciate all the listeners to our podcast, all the subscribers who want to visit our little sliver of the interwebs, and all of you guys. Really, this is for a guy in the middle of Wisconsin who's probably as far away from anything Hollywood known to man to do this show with you folks. And doing the YouTube channel and getting to meet so many great indie filmmakers. And shit, because of this podcast, I got out and actually interviewed people from Hollywood, which to this day boggles my mind. And I hope to have more interviews for you folks soon. I plan on getting back to pursuing more interviews because, yeah, I mean, I've gotten to talk to so many amazing people, and it's because of doing this show and doing the YouTube channel that I've been motivated to do that. Never thought I'd get to talk to the people I have and meet the people I did, and it's because of support from our listeners, our viewers, and from the people in this room that I keep doing this. So I thank all of you as well. And enough being sappy. Check out everything at SpecialMarkProductions.com. Please show your love by giving us a subscription on iTunes, as well as rate and comment. We would really appreciate that. If you have an idea for a show, send it to the Twitters at SpoilerRoomPDCS, or you can email us at spoilerroom.smp@gmail.com. Folks, this is the Spoiler Room, where the conversation is fresh, but we do spoil the movies. Say goodnight, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.